Contact the DOA at 947-3090.
For the record, proudly brought to you by Pirates Fest 2022. Stay in the know. Get the full event lineup at piratesfestcayman.com.
Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health. And JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
This is For the Record with ORETT CONNOR.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, ORETT CONNOR.
Good morning, O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees, so fair. Today is Friday, the 18th day of November 2022, right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands. We hope and we trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on the wet roads of the Cayman Islands, we urge you to please be extremely cautious, whether you're a pedestrian or a cyclist, or if you're operating any type of motorized vehicle. We urge you to observe the rules of the road, including using your indicators when navigating a roundabout. In the absence of signs, and we know that the National Roads Authority, they're working on this, and we know that there are persons out there strongly advocating for more signage to be placed, persons like Miss Sharon Ebanks. So with that advocacy, we hope to see improvements. Meanwhile, if you really know the rules of the road, then you would know that you should use your indicators when turning, when navigating a roundabout as well. And remember, the life you save may just be your own if you follow the rules of the road as well. Those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday, or if you've celebrated one over the past few days, we want to wish you a belated happy birthday as well, and to remind you that the For the Record birthday shout-outs proudly brought to you by life insurance agent Michael Webster from Cayman Insurance Center, and he reminds you to live your best life and make sure your family can too. So, live your best life and make sure that your family can too. Those of you who have lost loved ones, again, we want to express our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing to you as well. Those of you who are ill and are either at home or at a medical facility here in the Cayman Islands or overseas, we wish you a speedy recovery as well. And this morning we also want to extend special recovery greetings to or comments to Mr. Franz Manderson, the Honorable Franz Manderson, the Deputy Governor, who had a medical incident on Wednesday, and we are all happy to know that he is recovering well, that everything seems to be fine as well. And on that note, I just want to remind those persons using social media, don't stop trying to be the first to put news out there, especially in your groups, to be the first person to post things. And when you post, I would advise you to first verify what you're posting there. Get that information, or confirm it from at least 1-2 reliable sources as well. And then we have to be careful about the language that we use, because people interpret things literally. And when you talk about use adjectives like massive and things of that nature, you alarm people. So wait until official news is received before putting it out there. Don't try to the one-upmanship thing where you're trying to be the first to post it on your social media group or whatever, because it can be extremely embarrassing to those persons when misinformation is sent out there, and it can also be embarrassing to yourself when you realize that what you've posted is incorrect as well. Those are just my few words and comments in relation to that. But again, to the Honorable Franz Manderson, Deputy Governor of the Cayman Islands, we wish you a speedy recovery as well. And it is good to see all of the positive comments and well wishes on the few social media platforms that I am on as well, which is usually just reading more than posting. I do very little posting as well. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, ORETT CONNOR, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open. This morning, it is the radio voice of Silver Fox, Mr. Paul Akal, waiting to take your calls. You can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flow. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. Email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord at candw.ky. WhatsApp us 925-3261, where you can send us a text message or leave us a voice note, the contents of which will be played during the course of the show. You can follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live streaming, and of course we are on Facebook as well, so you can follow us there. So let's look at some birthday greetings today. Fellow daybreaker, Mr. Edward Harper, we want to wish him a belated happy birthday. He celebrated his birthday yesterday. And we have several persons celebrating their birthday tomorrow. And all of these birthday greetings are coming from Miss Jewel in Northside. So we have Roy Connolly, I'm told, celebrating a birthday. Aaron, or is that Aaron or Akron? Petey, Chris McLaughlin, Elizabeth Sharif, Floyd Groves, Ella Ebanks, and they're all coming from Miss Jewel. So Ella Ebanks, Floyd Groves, Elizabeth Sharif, Chris McLaughlin, Akron, Petey, and Roy Connolly, all celebrating birthdays tomorrow, all coming from Miss Jewel Borden. And again, to remind you that the For the Record birthday shoutouts are proudly brought to you by life insurance agent Michael Webster from Cayman Insurance Center. And he reminds you to live your best life and make sure your family can too. Folks, we're going to take a commercial break. I also want to remind you that Minister Kenneth Bryan will be in the studio with us after the 8 o'clock news. He will be here. He's prepared to take calls and questions as well, but he'll tell us and give us updates in terms of what is taking place within those entities that fall under his constitutional responsibility as far as tourism and transport is concerned. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
While the Cayman Islands has long been a maritime abode, it was under Commissioner Alan Cardinal that the pastime of yachting or sailing would come to pass. Commissioner Cardinal started his post in the Cayman Islands on February 14, 1934. In January 1935, the first Cayman Islands Regatta was held in Georgetown, with boats participating from Cayman Brac. Commissioner Cardinal had foreseen that the islands were capable of showcasing their excellent shipbuilding and sailing talents in organized competition, as a means to attract international investors. With the assistance of one Edmund S. Parsons and Lieutenant Colonel B.P. Dobson, Commissioner Cardinal would form the Cayman Islands Yacht Club. In a sign of genius, the Yacht Club was also used to reform the local Boy Scouts, but as Sea Scouts serving in Georgetown and West Bay. By 1937, the Cayman Islands Yacht Club boasted 134 members, with 150 Boy Scouts and Cubs.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
The Rotary Central Music Extravaganza is Saturday, November 26th. Your ticket, your chance, your prize. Grand prize $40,000. Second prize $4,000. 6 $1,000 prizes and more. Get your $25 tickets now through Rotary Central members, Rotary Central ticket sellers, eventpro.ky, or WhatsApp Rotarian Annie Rose Scott in Cayman Brac at 916-7310. The Rotary Music Extravaganza at Salty's Grand Harbor. Performances by Heat, Fabulous 68 and CNB. November 26th, you can be the winner. Proceeds fund Rotary Central Community Projects. Rotary Central NPO number 232. Rotary, all the good you imagine.
November 19th, Grand Cayman. There's so much more Pirates Fest energy in the air. The party continues Saturday, November 19th. The doggies get their own parade starting at 11 a.m. Lukia at the National Museum at 1 p.m. The Children's Play Area at Kirk House from 2 p.m. The Trial of the Pirates at 5:30. Closing fireworks at 8 p.m. along with 2 street dances. One for the adults and one for the teens. And of course, the food festival goes on for 11 hours. Afternoon till night. Come for lunch, party a bunch, and pirate the night away.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
JN Money touching down again. Now you can send your US dollars at any location on island, including the BRAC. It's easy. Just walk with your US dollars. No need to convert to CI. This is another convenient service available at JN Money. They always find a way to make it easier and hassle-free. So remember, when you need to send your money and you only have US dollars, don't ever think of what to do. Just head straight to any JN Money location and send your money the fast, convenient, and affordable JN Money. JN Money, touching down again. JN Money, ranga to la friend.
We think it's time you crossed over to a new vehicle. And with the Toyota Corolla Cross, now at Vant Motors, you have plenty of reasons to make the switch. The crossover body and hybrid engine is a sleek design in a sturdy structure with a spacious interior that opens to extensive cargo space. Stuck in traffic? The high-performance self-charging hybrid system automatically switches between gas and electric vehicle mode, helping you lower both fuel costs and carbon emissions. The Corolla Cross has full LED lighting inside and out, an integrated display audio system with energy monitor, and a dual-zone climate control system to ensure comfort for all. Test drive the new Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid today at Vant Motors, Walkers Road.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
With costs and insecurities rising, staying grounded and focused is what your family needs. Life insurance covers your family and mortgage protection. Peace of mind is mental health awareness.
Life insurance, the sure way to protect your family. I'm Michael Webster. Don't take chances with your family's future or your valuable assets. Cayman Insurance Center, protecting you and your family so you can take back your future. I'm Michael Webster. Let's discuss your peace of mind today. Call me at 925-5433.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the record.
This is For the Record with ORETT CONNOR.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guests in the studio yet. We will have Minister Kenneth Bryan in the studio with us after the 8 o'clock news, probably around about 8:30. He will be coming in to tell us what's taken place within those entities that fall within his constitutional responsibilities. Those are tourism and transport. So we're looking forward to hearing from Minister Bryan and to let you know that the phone lines will be open during most of his time here because he wants to hear from you as well. Meanwhile, we still have a few birthday greetings coming in. This one is happy belated birthday going out to Joel Rattray, and those birthday greetings are coming from his uncle Lammy. So Joel Rattray, belated happy birthday greetings coming from your uncle Lammy as well. So, let's make sure we don't have any more. So I'm not sure whether anyone was privy to this article, but you're aware of the fact that that Guyana has now, because of the discovery of huge deposits of oil and because of their arrangement with Exxon Mobil, Guyana has now struck it rich, and we hope and we trust that they do not succumb to the, the oil curse, like many countries have succumbed to, where they end up with all of these resources, but at the end of the day, their populace, their people, do not end up any better than they were before the discovery. As a matter of fact, in many instances, they end up worse off simply because of the corruption, the misappropriation, the under the table deals, everything. So we hope and we trust that Guyana does not succumb to the oil curse. We see many countries, the Chinese, the Canadians, the Americans, the UK all jockeying for position, trade groups going over there. We see lots of hotels being built. The Chedi Jagan airport has been refurbished and everything. So Guyana seems to be moving forward. And like I said, the UK plus US, China, Canada, they were all jockeying for position in there. So one of the announcements that the UK recently made, just a few weeks ago, I don't think it's even a month ago, that Guyanese nationals would no longer require visas to enter the UK. Those who are visiting the UK no longer require visas. How convenient. All of a sudden, when Guyana had nothing to offer, visa regimes were in place. Now that Guyana has struck oil and the UK wants to make inroads there, they have lifted the visa restrictions. But listen to this, someone didn't get the memo. Someone didn't get the memo. So if you go to one of the Guyanese newspapers, this one is Stabroek News, and there's an article in there, Linden man, that's, Linden is a part of Guyana. Linden man turned back by UK immigration over insufficient funds. And it says, a Linden man who is amongst the first group of travelers to the United Kingdom since the lifting of the visa requirement was denied entry on arrival. Immigration officers at Heathrow Airport in London denied Tion Hope entry on the grounds that they were unsatisfied with the amount of money he had in his possession for his length of stay. Says according to his sister, who moved to the UK in 2018 to work in the health sector, the immigration officer who she spoke with said, they have no issue with my support for him. They were just not happy with the amount of money he traveled with, the fact that he didn't have his business documents, with him as well. So what the story doesn't say whether or not they allowed him in temporarily or whether or not they got it sorted out, but if you go by the headlines in this article, the indications are that he was returned to Guyana. Linden man turned back by UK immigration over insufficient funds. Now, we know that has been one of the issues that many countries use. When you're entering, they may ask you, the amount of funds that you have. We did it here in the Cayman Islands. I'm not sure if we do it as much now because we have visa regimes in place for most countries. So they're vetted. Those persons coming here are vetted before they actually arrive. But there are two things that usually upon entry that you want to know: that you have sufficient funds to sustain you for the length of time, or that you have someone who can and is prepared and willing to support you, and also that you have a return ticket. Now, in these days, you hardly see a hard copy of a ticket. You may get a boarding pass or something like that, but you rarely see a hard copy of a ticket. But in the 70s, in the 80s, in the 90s, you sometimes had to show your return ticket to an immigration officer upon entry as well. But my point here is that here is the UK trying to make inroads, trying to take advantage of the natural resources of Guyana, offering a quote-unquote olive branch to them, but the immigration officers in the UK, for some reason, didn't get the memo. Folks, top of the hour, 8 o'clock news. When we return, hopefully we will have Minister Bryan in the studio. If not at 8:15, then he certainly will be here at 8:30. So don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Feast mode activated.
There's always room at the family table, and Foster's is there to keep everyone fed.
With incredible new recipes and familiar classics, we have everything needed to cater any family feast.
Roast turkeys, holiday hams, fall-off-the-bone pork shoulder. Not to mention cheesy mac and cheese, scallop potatoes, pumpkin or pecan pie. There's a lot to be thankful for this year.
Have a thankfully hassle-free Thanksgiving and order yours online at fosters.ky. Foster's, better because we care.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. The police say they are certain they have identified the groups responsible for a surge in local robberies. Commissioner of Police Derek Burns says there are at least 10 people comprising 3 groups. Many involved in the group have already spent time in custody and have served for other non-related crimes. The groups are described as loosely associated, tipping one another off to opportune times to strike. While surveilling, police have noticed 3 cars that keep popping up as well. Detective Superintendent Peter Lansdowne.
There's definitely a silver Honda involved. There was a red Honda that has been recovered. So it's a silver Honda Accord. There was a red Honda that we've recovered and seized, and there was another silver Honda that we've also recovered. So we recovered one set of stolen number plates on one of the cars as well. Yes.
Commissioner Derek Burns says they've established their approach to prevention and suppression.
So dismantling and disrupting these criminal groupings is our primary objective at the moment. And this is where our detective inspector from the crime task force comes in. He's fully committed, and our firearms response units are engaged whole time on this, targeting the suspects and targeting central Georgetown, where the majority of the robberies are being committed.
In other news, the Cayman Islands Air Show is back. Radio Cayman's April Cummings reports.
The air show was supposed to take place during the Queen's Platinum Jubilee weekend, but was postponed and now is scheduled for December 3rd and 4th in Grand Cayman and Cayman Brac. The show is a collaboration between the Cayman Islands Airports Authority, the Civil Aviation Authority, and the Department of Tourism. It celebrates the 70th anniversary of the first commercial plane landing at Owen Roberts International Airport on Grand Cayman. So in the morning on Saturday, December 3rd, the public's invited to watch the air display in the airspace above Grand Cayman's 7 Mile public beach. The show will feature iconic airplanes and international acts, including a PBY Catalina, the Quayan Jet Team, aerobatic pilot Skip Stewart, and the Red Bull sports team, accompanied by pilot Kirby Chambliss. In the afternoon, the static display aircraft exhibition at Island Air Hangar will provide the public with an opportunity to view the planes and meet some of the air show participants. The Sister Islands is also joining in the fun with a static display aircraft exhibition from 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. at the Charles Kirkconnell International Airport in Cayman Brac on Sunday, December 4th. April Cummings, Radio Cayman News.
Members of the public should note that parking access at Public Beach and the air hangar will be restricted. They're asked to park off-site and take a free shuttle to the event locations. More information can be found at CaymanAirShow.com. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Carsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with Jerry Smith. The UN Climate Summit in Egypt has been extended by an extra day as talks remain gridlocked over compensation for poorer countries being ravaged by the changing climate. A proposal by the European Union for a special fund for the most vulnerable nations is being considered. Investigators looking into the damaged Nord Stream pipeline have found traces of explosives. Swedish prosecutors say sabotage caused the damage to the pipes that were built to bring gas from Russia to Western Europe. Protesters in Iran have set fire to the ancestral home of the founder of the Islamic Republic, Ayatollah Khomeini. The house is in the city of Khomeini, which was named after him. Kyiv says Russian forces continue to shell targets across Ukraine overnight as reports emerge of heavy fighting along the front line in the east. The Ukrainians say they have repelled Russian attacks there. A week after Russian troops left Kherson, the first train is scheduled to depart tonight from Kyiv to the liberated city. Painted in bright colours, graffiti style, the train to victory should arrive in Kherson on Saturday morning. At least 15 people have been killed in a gas explosion in northern Iraq. An official said 13 people, some of them children, remained trapped under rubble. The Kenyan government says it's going ahead with controversial plans to import genetically modified maize, as the price of the staple food rises sharply because of drought. The plan has been criticised because of safety concerns. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com. Did you know that ValueMed Pharmacy has a free online prescription service? Managing your health and medical requirements has never been easier with ValueMed. Simply visit value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com and click the Refill Prescriptions tab on our website. Fill in the information for new prescriptions or refills and choose your preferred pickup location. ValueMed on Walkers Road or Town. Then bring in your original prescription from your doctor when picking up. There's no need to stand in line and wait for your prescription. Save time and pick up prescriptions at your convenience by visiting value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Ahoy, mateys! Enjoy a jolly day out with the whole family at Cayman Turtle Center's Pirates Fest Family Fun Day on Sunday the 20th of November. Explore the wildlife, ride the water slide, splash in the lagoon, hunt for treasure and enjoy activities for the whole family. The fun takes place from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Costumes are encouraged and kids 12 and under in costume get free admission. Don't miss all the pirate festivities at Cayman Turtle Center on Sunday, November 20th. Harg.
Healthcare Pharmacy, caring about your health for the past 25 years. Radio Cayman's premier health show.
Alzheimer's and dementia, are they the same disorder?
Yeah, I think that's a very important question.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
Is heard on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. and on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Brought to you by Healthcare Pharmacy in Grand Harbor, where they care about your health. Transfer and refill your prescription online. Visit healthcarepharmacy.com. KY or call 947-8900. Healthcare Pharmacy now with a new and second location in Governor's Square. The new Healthcare Pharmacy in Governor's Square is open Monday to Friday 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Healthcare Pharmacy, where they care about your health.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcade, where people come first.
Good morning, everyone. Hello? Hello? Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Okay, I see we have just about everyone, and of course Tom drops off, as per usual. Let's just wait a minute here. He always comes right back, and we're almost ready, and... oh, whoever's dog that is, please go on mute. Why won't it let me share my screen? Okay, looks like we're ready to start.
We're like a video conference with no technical issues. CG Britcade. Good like that.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Head east on Cove Road. Sharp left on Church Street. Sharper left. No, your other left. Did I say left? No, you missed it. Okay, I'm lost.
With money-saving bundling options for home and motor, we're like a GPS that doesn't steer you wrong. CG Britcay. Good like that.
Let's stop and ask for directions.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
You see how hard it's raining?
Yeah, and I don't have time to fight traffic and get my lunch from Subway. I have so much work to do.
Why don't you order Subway by using the Let's Eat or Bento app? Save time, stay dry, and get your sandwich fast.
I never thought of that. Great idea. I'm going to order now.
Order me a veggie pizza while you're at it.
And a cookie platter for the office. Too busy at work or home? Is the rainy weather stopping you from dining out? Order your favorite Subway sandwich, wrap, or pizza through the Let's Eat or Bento app with fast and reliable delivery. Subway, eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
After a storm, be sure to immediately report any broken or damaged water mains to the Water Authority. Our emergency helpline is 946-HELP. That's 946-4357. For more useful hurricane preparedness tips, visit the Water Authority's website at www.waterauthority.ky or follow us on social media.
Hello, Cayman Islands. This is Carly Davis. Come and enjoy an evening of thanksgiving and praise at Cayman Gospel Fest on Saturday, November 19th at the Lions Center. Come see Cayman's best performers and church choirs. My band and I will be there. Admission is free. See you Saturday, November 19th at the Lions Center with Cayman Gospel Fest. You cannot afford to miss it. Yes, come out and let's have fun together.
Brought to you by the Progressives, celebrating 20 years of service to the Cayman Islands.
Pirates Fest.
Pirates Fest, Pirates Fest, Pirates Fest 2022. 3 cheers for 3 islands. Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
For the record, with ORETT CONNOR.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record with ORETT CONNOR. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Like I said, we will have Minister Brian in the studio with us around about 8:30 or so. Meanwhile, lots to discuss here in the Cayman Islands, and we certainly hear callers opine about the rights of Caymanians and the protection of Caymanians. Some question whether or not there are sufficient constitutional protection for indigenous Caymanians, whether there are any at all, or if there are, whether or not they are sufficient. We know that there are particular sections in the law that talks about the fact that we can legislate in favor of Caymanians. But to bring to your attention the fact that many overseas territories, the small ones, are facing similar challenges, similar questions, mainly because of their population sizes, or the population size, as well as thriving economies. And with those thriving economies and not a sufficient population size to be able to support all of those thriving businesses, the need to import labor. And then along with that, the immigration policies that provide a pathway to citizenship for those who come and work here. Some are successful, some are not. Other jurisdictions experiencing similar issues. Some, like Bermuda, have not yet fully faced the challenges because there have still been issues in relation to their legislation, some calling for a better pathway to citizenship as a result, especially for those persons who were born in Bermuda and born before a particular date as well. Some only have permanent residence, and based on the Bermuda immigration legislation, one of the pathways to citizenship is not the fact that you possess permanent residence, you become a British Overseas Territory citizen, and then you are eligible to apply for Bermudan status. It doesn't work like that over there. Not sure how it works in the British Virgin Islands, but a former Speaker of the British Virgin Islands House of Assembly has opined on it because Bermuda, BVI, sorry, I have to get Bermuda out of my head, because the BVI are now having discussions and getting feedback. They've formed a constitutional committee and seeking feedback on what should be in their new constitution. So this gentleman, he's the former Speaker of the House of Assembly, Julian Willock. On one of the talk shows over there, he said that he believes that the next version of the BVI's constitution should contain some protection for the indigenous Virgin Islander. He goes on to say that he makes no apology for that. And like I said before, he was opining on this on a talk show in the BVI called Talking Point. He says there must be certain positions, for example, the Premier's position, which must be reserved for an indigenous Virgin Islander. I make no apology for that, he said. Now, just to compare what he's saying there and what we have in Constitution here, of course our Constitution spells out who can qualify to be an elector in the Cayman Islands, and also what qualifications, what qualities you have to have in order to be an elected member of our parliament as well. Also, in our Constitution, there are two positions that are specifically reserved for Caymanians, and those are, number one, the position of Deputy Governor, and number two, the position of Cabinet Secretary. So we have made inroads to that extent. We haven't gone further to say all positions for permanent secretaries, all senior positions, all heads of department positions should be reserved for Caymanians, and only in exceptional and really exceptional, and those exceptional circumstances should be spelled out as well. We have not gone that far, with other positions within the civil service. But I would venture to say, that the policies that are in place as far as recruitment and hiring is concerned, that the government, those in charge of the civil service, are doing their endeavor to ensure that Caymanians, first and foremost, are considered for those top positions as well. I cannot say the same for those government companies and statutory authorities. Can't say the same for them, despite the fact that the government now is trying to ensure that those statutory authorities and government companies fall in line with government policy and what government is doing. There are persons who believe that there are statutory authorities and government companies out there who are not putting their best foot forward to ensure the recruitment, retention, and upward mobility of Caymanians. I would say that yes, some of them are under pressure from international bodies to ensure that there are certain staff, sufficient staff, and qualified staff are in place, but there are persons who do not believe that some of those statutory authorities and government companies are putting their best foot forward to ensure the hiring, retention, and upward mobility of Caymanians. Notice I repeated that a second time. So, back to the article in the BVI, and for those of you who are just joining us, it is one of their former speakers of their House of Assembly opining on the fact that they believe that the next version of the Constitution that is adopted by the British Virgin Islands should contain provisions in it to protect indigenous Virgin Islanders as well. The article goes on to say that the topic of special privileges and protections for British Virgin Islanders has always divided the public, as many believe those arguments are xenophobic and disregard the contribution of expatriates who are overrepresented in the BVI. Goes on to say that the term indigenous BVI Islander is also controversial, as some see it as a term locals use to shame those they believe do not have adequate ties to the territory. In making his point on the radio show, Willox said his definition of an indigenous Virgin Islander is someone who can trace one or both of your parents back to 2 or 3 generations. So he has placed a definition on what British Virgin Islander, what it means. And it goes on to say that after he made that point, the co-host of the radio talk show posted that arguments about indigenous Virgin Islanders disenfranchises people who were born in the territory but cannot trace their Virgin Island ancestry to 3 generations. There's more to this article, but we do have Minister Bryan on the line. But do we want to take the commercial break, and then we're going to have Minister Bryan on the line as well. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
This Friday, November the 18th, the Pirates festivities continue with the turtle release at Governor's Beach at 10 a.m. and the Pirates Fest 5K run walk from Seafarers starting at 5:30 p.m. As part of the Heritage Day series brought to you by the Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture, and Heritage. Take in the Georgetown from 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. on Cardinal Avenue. Celebrate your Georgetown heritage, local food, performances, and more. Friday, November the 18th from 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. on Cardinal Avenue.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
So much happening so fast, too much. It is hard for me to follow my healthcare instructions. The private counseling with West Bay Pharmacy literally saved my life.
At West Bay Pharmacy, we know how complex medications can be. Our pharmacists are delighted to offer you personalized one-on-one healthcare counseling, free medication review, therapeutic callbacks, and we will liaise with your physician to ensure you receive the best in quality medical care.
Quality of life has a whole new meaning with the right pharmacy to support you. Thank you, West Bay Pharmacy.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner. Now you can WhatsApp your West Bay Pharmacy prescriptions to 516-0777.
New stock has just arrived at Super Stitch. Now don't take my word for it, drop by and see for yourself. Fresh off the boat, we have loads of fabric, vinyl upholstery fabric, fabric for cushions, outdoor fabrics, and dress fabric. That's not all. Super Stitch has sewing accessories and craft items. Included in the new shipment, you will find sheets, comforters, throw pillows, bath mats, rugs, and curtains for every room in your home. Super Stitch, 39 Pasador Place, Smith Road. Still offering the best price in town. Call 949-2833 or go to superstitch.com.ky.
A month of Sundays means a very long time. What is a week of Black Fridays? It is 8 days of super savings at A.L. Thompson's beginning Friday, November 18th at 6 a.m. During Black Friday week, you can take advantage of deep discounts on electronics, appliances, home decor, and tools. We invite you to review 8 pages of products in the Black Friday week flyer on althompson.com and to shop at your convenience at A.L. Thompson's, Georgetown.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the people's station. Your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach. The Department of Agriculture would like to advise the public that appointments for Christmas abattoir services should be scheduled by November 30th. This can be done at the main office reception desk on Lottery Road, Bodden Town. To learn more about the DOA abattoir services, required information, and delivery dates, visit the Department of Agriculture on Facebook and Instagram or call 947-3090.
System 1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with ORETT CONNOR.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We're going straight to the phone lines. Minister, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC, and good morning to the listening audience out there. Happy Friday, happy Friday. How are you today?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
I am stuck in this traffic that has taken over Georgetown, sadly.
Yes.
With the road closure after dropping off my kids. Sadly, that's why I'm not in the studio. But today is all about Georgetown Heritage Day, and as you know, we're going to have a lot of festivities downtown today, so I'm excited about that, and I'm hoping that everybody is planning to take their lunch break to come downtown to get some great food. But I would like to outline those what's happening down there in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
But I see that you have gone, as you usually do, and open up some very serious topics about or who's Caymanian, who's not, as opposed to what is happening in other jurisdictions.
Right.
Very, very, very sensitive topic, but one that I think nobody wants to touch, because what the people of Cayman may choose may not be necessarily something that everybody else will choose. But I don't think I have the patience today to deal with a hot one like that. But there is something I would like public input on. And it has to do with public trading at the public
beach. Okay.
Yeah, as Minister for Tourism, though it doesn't fully fall under my responsibility, by way of saying that the permission to be there falls under Public Lands Commission, and having a license to operate there falls under DCI. It's a tourism activity, but it's not regulated by the Ministry of Tourism or the Department of Tourism. We just advise that if a license is awarded and permission is given, that they do the Pride program, which talks about, how to interact with customers and how to service the tourism product in a proper way. That's as far as we are involved in that.
Mm-hmm.
But as the public knows, there is a lot of attention at the public beach right now because it is the only location available at this moment to service cruise tourism passengers. Since COVID, there is a number of properties that have come offline.
Okay.
Primarily being Royal Palms, Coral Beach, which is adjacent to Royal Palms, Calico Jacks, which is right next to public beach. Some people used to go to Tiki Beach as well sometimes, but that is no longer an attraction for cruise passengers because it's now attached to the Seafire Kimpton Hotel.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no real location that has been solely focused on persons that are not attached to a hotel and that services the cruise passengers. And naturally, what has happened now is without the proper regulatory framework governing the activities at Public Beach, there's a lot of members who have started their business, and I am happy to see the Caymanians are fighting really hard to survive and make their own way. But it has created this conflict within the commercial exercise at a public beach, which is seen to be for Caymanians' use as opposed to commercial use. And it's put myself as well as the government members in a very peculiar position, whereas are we going to move forward with the past administration's policy, which is to allow vending at that location? So Caymanian vendors, whether that be, crafts and renting of chairs and water sports and food and beverage and those kinds of things to be allowed at Public Beach. Because I'm getting a number of different views on it. Some people have said, to me that they don't think that commercial behavior should be happening there. It's supposed to be reserved for our residents of the island to be able to go there because everywhere else is taken up and we don't have anything much left, at least on the 7 Mile Beach stretch.
Mm-hmm.
We do have some public beaches in other areas of the island. You have, the Governor's Beach, you have Smith Cove, you have
Colwood,
Public Beach.
Colwood in Borden Town.
Colwood in Borden Town and many other
Yes.
spots across the island. But what we're well known for, being this Cayman Islands 7 Mile Beach, there is this feeling that if it's allowed there, then Caymanians will never have anywhere else left to go for 7 Mile Beach because everything else has been sold, right?
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, we over the years have not created a policy of preserving or acquiring a larger portion of 7 Mile Beach to keep for these types of commercial behavior or public uses.
Mm-hmm.
So we're here now stuck in a situation where COVID was a big break on it. We weren't all paying attention to the commercial exercise that have come offline. And naturally now that tourism is back, which is good, that means opportunities for people, but it's created this issue.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter what you do, there's going to be a group of people who are not going to be happy with it. Because I've gotten some strong representation from people saying, no, it shouldn't be happening there. It's a public beach for residents to go and enjoy. Whenever cruise ships are there, they can't go and enjoy the beach because it's consumed by cruise passengers, and the experience is not like what we were accustomed to.
Minister, if I could interrupt you there for a second. I was thinking about this as well, and those persons that make that argument, have they taken into consideration the fact that the days when cruise ships are in, except for weekends, do we know how much local use of the beach takes place? And the reason that I ask that is whether or not any thought could be given to allowing those vendors to be able to conduct their business there on cruise ship days and on weekends, then they're not allowed to be there.
Well, that's a good point because I think that's probably where the middle ground is going to have to be had, whereas on public holidays, when you know there may be a high usage of the location, and on weekends, the operations can't happen. But outside of that, then you can have the right to operate. That way, Caymanians can use it when they're highly likely to be in want to use it. So I see your point, and that may have to be the solution because there's no other option. There's no other place that is for one acceptable to the community or available to the community, because you may recall in the last administration when the previous government was putting forward the notion for cruise pier, much of the discussion had come up about, well, where are these cruise passengers going to go? And at that time, there was the, I keep on forgetting the name of the area up in West Bay there, next to Papagallo's. It's,
Barker's.
Barker's, thank you so much. And the Barker's area was proposed to create this kind of environment for commercial use, to focus primarily on cruise passengers, where taxi drivers and tour operators can take them from downtown up to Barker's. They'll have amenities, and there's a beach there and so forth. And that was protested against. Rightfully or wrongfully, regardless of your viewpoint on it, the fact is there was a decision made that they would not allow that there.
Okay.
But what we're recognizing is that there's not much places else for them to go, and the only way to get to do this is to share those amenities or cancel the opportunity for Caymanians to have small businesses there, or just allow it to happen regulated, but recognize that we will not have the same freedoms and usage like we used to at the public beaches. And it's a sensitive area because, I mean, I have a personal opinion on it, and I'm worried that once we go down this road of allowing the usage for it, there's no turning back because it becomes the norm. And I'm really saddened that we didn't look about this, 20 years ago when there was still some level of opportunity of land available. So I would love to know what the public's view is, because I think that we're going to be obligated to go out to the public and hear what their feeling is about this, because I get the same amount of calls from people who go, no, Kenneth, this is not fair. I go down there with my kids, and I can't even get one of the cabanas to use. I hear that the type of music is being played is very vulgar. People are selling alcohol and drugs is being done there. But though all of that is happening, is because it's not controlled properly now.
Right.
And we can clean that up. I don't think that that's the biggest issue. The biggest issue is whether or not there should be commercial exercise there at all. And we have to decide that policy, and we can't leave those Caymanians out who are trying to make an honest living there.
Are there individuals who currently hold a trade and business license to be allowing them to operate there?
There's many of them who have current licenses, many of them who are operating outside of that as well. You see, the issue is that the government former policy of allowing some small percentage of people or a small number of people to have a vending license at that location hasn't been renewed, and the policy hasn't been brought forward. Because remember now, the last administration came out of power during the pandemic when the borders were closed. And now that tourism is fully back, the question is whether or not we're going to follow through with the previous policy of allowing that. How would that be done? How would it be regulated? Because you can't just have endless amounts of people. It has to be controlled. So you would have to limit, say, 10 persons who can do this, 5 persons who can do that. And then you're still going to get some people who are not happy because not everybody going to be able to do it. So which ones get to do it? So I would really like as much feedback from the public and their viewpoints on that, because it's going to be a sensitive one. I know that a very prominent person in our Georgetown community was so disappointed after visiting down at the location with some kids and having to be exposed to some behavior that I even saw on video that was appalling. appalling. But that doesn't mean that it happens all the time, and I want to condemn the environment that is there. But it doesn't reflect well on our tourism product and standard that we've always had. So therefore, we have to figure this out. It's just a matter of is how the people will feel about commercial activity being there. You're not going to have the opportunity to just go sit down by public beach and enjoy without knowing that you're going to be interacting with the hustle and bustle of cruise passengers.
Certainly.
But I think the thing that you brought up first is probably the most logical solution. But I know that some of my members are also listening to the radio show, so hearing from the public would be a great thing, so they can get the best guidance possible on how the people feel. Because what if the majority of the people in this country say, nope, Kenneth, or Premier, or Minister for Lands, or Minister for Trade and Business, we do not want that. You can have 10% of your society say, we want commercial activity, and the other 90% say, no, that's our beach, and that's that. Or you can have it in the other reverse, where people say, no, there should be an opportunity for Caymanians to have business there and find that compromise and balance. So it's about making sure that you have you respond to the people's will. That means interaction, that means commentary. And I would encourage anybody who's listening, if you have a personal feeling about this, contact your politicians, including me. That's why I'm talking about it now. You know, primarily the Minister for Lands and Minister for Trade and Business, which is the Honourable Juliana O'Connor for Lands, and the Honourable Andre Ebanks, who's in charge of Andre Ebanks, who is responsible for DCI and Trade and Business.
Okay.
Because the responsibility would finally be done by them by way of policy within those various different.
Okay, Minister, I'm going to interrupt you for a second. We have to go to a commercial break, and we have a caller online who wants to ask you a question as well. And I take it you're still on your way here, right?
Yeah, I'm out by the hospital.
Okay.
We're moving at snail's pace, but I'm coming there, and I'll be in the studio hopefully within the 15 minutes.
Okay, we're going to keep you on the line if you want to take the commercial break, and then we can link up with the caller as well. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
At Doctor's Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctor's Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
We think it's time you crossed over to a new vehicle. And with the Toyota Corolla Cross, now Advanced Motors, you have plenty of reasons to make the switch. The crossover body and hybrid engine is a sleek design in a sturdy structure with a spacious interior that opens to extensive cargo space. Stuck in traffic? The high-performance self-charging hybrid system automatically switches between gas and electric vehicle mode, helping you lower both fuel costs and carbon emissions. The Corolla Cross has full LED lighting inside and out, an integrated display audio system with energy monitor, and a dual-zone climate control system to ensure comfort for all. Test drive the new Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid today at Advanced Motors, Walkers Road.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our custom closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
Hello, Cayman Islands. This is Carly Davis. Come and enjoy an evening of thanksgiving and praise at Cayman Gospel Fest on Saturday, November 19th at the Lions Center. Come see Cayman's best performers and church choirs. My band and I will be there. Admission is free. See you Saturday, November 19th at the Lions Center with Cayman Gospel Fest. You cannot afford to miss it. Yes, come out and let's have fun together.
Brought to you by the Progressives, celebrating 20 years of service to the Cayman Islands.
November 19th, Grand Cayman. There's so much more Pirates Fest energy in the air. The party continues Saturday, November 19th. The doggies get their own parade starting at 11 a.m. Lukia at the National Museum at 1 p.m. The Children's Play Area at Kirk House from 2 p.m. The Trial of the Pirates at 5:30. Closing fireworks at 8 p.m. along with 2 street dances. One for the adults and one for the teens. And of course, the food festival goes on for 11 hours. Afternoon till night. Come for lunch, party a bunch, and pirate the night away.
New stock has just arrived at Super Stitch. Now don't take my word for it, drop by and see for yourself. Fresh off the boat, we have loads of fabric, vinyl upholstery fabric, fabric for cushions, outdoor fabrics, and dress fabric. That's not all. Super Stitch has sewing accessories and craft items. Included in the new shipment, you will find sheets, comforters, throw pillows, bath mats, rugs, and curtains for every room in your home. Super Stitch, 39 Pasador Place, Smith Road. Still offering the best price in town. Call 949-2833 or go to superstitch.com.ky.
At Kirk's Home Center, we can make your life much better. We got it all together. We got a great deal in store for you. From cookware to stereos, from power tools to plumbing supplies. Yeah, we got the best goods with the best price and a service to make you smile. At Kirk's Home Center, we got a great deal in store for you.
For the record, with ORETT CONNOR.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with ORETT CONNOR. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Caller, we're hoping and trusting that, well, not hoping that he's still in the car, but let's see whether or not Minister Bryan is still with us, because he was on his way to the studio and he was pretty near here. But caller, go right ahead. Minister Bryan, are you still there?
I'm still here, sir.
Okay, caller, go right ahead. Good morning, caller.
Yes, good morning. Good morning, sir, and good morning to Minister Bryan, who is on the phone, I think.
Yes, he is.
Okay. I have a number of things, and I know he's coming into the studio, so maybe I'll just run through them. You could jot them down. When he comes in, he would address them.
Will do.
In his call to you, I think one of the very first things he spoke about was the matter of who is Caymanian. Now, that's a touchy one. I've called you before. But what I want to point out to Minister Bryan, and he said that it's something like he can't go there today or it's too hot a topic. Anyway, he couldn't worry with it today, was basically what he said. So I'm going to pose a question to Minister Bryan, whom I know, I know when he was born and all that, and I know it is after 1977. I happen to know that. Which means that if he has not been acknowledged as a Caymanian, and when I spoke to him some time ago, he hadn't been. I don't know if it has changed. But if he, and there are a number of others in the cabinet and in the administration right now who are in that very same position. One that I know personally would be Miss Wilkes, Ebanks, Wilkes, Catherine. And the reason I know these kids are in the same age group as my children, and I've been put in this awkward position of having to acknowledge my children as Caymanian. I hate it. I hate the thought of it. However, if Minister Bryan himself and Miss Catherine Wilkes Ebanks has not been acknowledged, they are actually illegally serving the people of the Cayman Islands. They should not have been allowed to run in the election because they're really not Caymanian until the work office, the director of work, says you're a Caymanian. You're not a Caymanian until such time if you were born since 1977.
Yeah, I think you're getting a little bit technical there, because I think the Constitution basically covers them in terms of their ability to sit in our parliament and everything.
Yeah, but the point is, somebody has to make the time and touch this and make it right. I mean, my son, for example, who is exactly the same age as Minister Bryan, that's why I know them.
Don't forget now, you said you were going to give us some topics and then we talk about them after.
That's one.
Okay.
I want to suggest that they touch it.
Okay.
Then the public beach.
Mm-hmm.
Another one. Now, the problem with the public beach, which I heard him just say, I think there's 3 different entities. One approves this, one approves that, one approves the other thing. They need to get rid of that. Those type of situations create too much confusion and too much opportunity to pass the buck to someone else. The public beach should fall fairly and squarely as a tourism attraction under the Tourism Attraction Board.
Okay.
Mr. Bryan needs to absolutely make sure that the Tourism Attraction Board has the capability to handle.
Okay. Someone has their radio up a little bit too loud because we're getting feedback on the sand.
It's not in my house.
Okay.
There's absolutely nothing on except me.
Got you.
This phone.
Okay.
So
yeah,
my suggestion is that it must be immediately put under the Tourism Attraction Board, which then creates the opportunity for him to relocate the craft market, not directly on the beach. No way. None of those vendors, period, should be on that beach. If they need to acquire land or use the parking lot or some adjacent land, create a proper craft market like they had, which stayed there and withered away for lack of business. The tourists were not getting out. And I say this because I was involved with it for a period of time. The craft market needs to be relocated, a proper, good, decently run craft market near to the public beach where the people can. And even the chairs that our visitors use should be owned, operated by the Tourism Attraction Board. Reduce, eliminate totally this chaos, this competition, this competitiveness, and put those people where they should be in a well-maintained, proper facility near there, run by the Tourism Attraction Board.
Okay. I have about a minute and a half before I go to the headline news. Any other one, or
Well, I wanted to speak about another thing, which I know doesn't fall with him, and it's this supposedly government-owned farmland in East End that every minister since 2000 hands have been tied and they can't do anything with it. Why are their hands always tied? Why are they always passing the buck? The Premier himself said that the public beach cannot be ignored, yet that is exactly what is happening. It's being ignored. Somebody needs to forget this timidity, get over the fear of losing an election, and do what has to be done. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, caller, for that. Minister Bryan, I think I have enough time to say good morning, welcome into the studio, and have you make some opening remarks before we go to our headline news at 9 o'clock.
Thank you so much.
Good morning, welcome.
Good morning to you too, and thank you so much to the caller for calling. I'm actually in the studio now, so hopefully we don't have no interruptions as a result of me being in traffic. No need for opening remarks, but to just try to answer some of the questions that she had quickly before we go to the break. First off, yes, you were 100% correct in about the question of whether we are able to run myself and acting Speaker Wilkes. The Constitution does protect that, though acknowledgement letter in itself is just a document that the public can use to say that this is a certified process of you're a Caymanian. It doesn't mean I'm not a Caymanian. So the assumption that I am illegally elected is kind of heartbreaking to hear her say that, but yes, the Constitution surpasses any other law, and the Elections Office has the authority to deem a person's right to run and right to be Caymanian.
And you make that declaration on your nomination.
On your
form
nomination,
as well.
yeah. Yes. So I would hate to know that because of an acknowledgement letter. That you would want to exclude a Caymanian from running for office. But I think her point was...
I think what she was saying, that technically, the way that she saw it, technically, that was the case. But not that she was looking to exclude you in any way.
Okay, well, I hope not. I don't think that was the case. But I think her point was that we need to resolve it. And the good news is that this is the hope of the National ID program, is to make the changes within the law that rather than having to go and present information and documentation that there's some things in the law that we're going to be changing by way of immigration, that the immigration department or the ID program have the authority to go and look at the evidence themselves to determine it, so you don't have to feel like feel terrible in any way to say I had to prove that I'm Caymanian, which is the ultimate problem that we're having here.
Exactly. Okay, top of the hour. Headline news at 9 o'clock. Folks, please stay tuned. The conversation with Minister Bryan will continue after this short commercial break.
Continuing the Caymanian tradition.
Let Cora keep my ground so clean.
The heart and soul of the Cayman people. Thank you for keeping the culture alive.
Spread the news every day. From East End to Georgetown, down into West Bay.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
After multiple tips from Radio Cayman listeners that they had seen multiple police cars traveling to and from the eastern districts and into central Georgetown, the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service has confirmed with Radio Cayman that, quote, proactive operations are currently underway. Make sure to stay with Radio Cayman as we follow this developing story. The U.S. has determined that Saudi Arabia's de facto leader, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, has immunity from a lawsuit filed by murdered journalist Jamal Khashoggi's fiancée. Mr. Khashoggi, a prominent Saudi critic, was murdered at the Saudi consulate in Istanbul in October 2018. U.S. intelligence said it believes Prince Mohammed ordered the killing, but in court filings, the U.S. State Department says he has immunity due to his new role as Saudi prime minister. Alcohol will not be sold at the World Cup's 8 stadiums in Qatar after FIFA changed its policies 2 days before the start of the tournament. Alcohol, it was set to be served in, quote, select areas within stadiums, despite its sale being strictly controlled in the Muslim country. Those in corporate areas of stadiums at the tournament will still be able to purchase alcohol. The World Cup starts on Sunday when Qatar plays Ecuador. Those are your headlines. I'm Carsley Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
For the record, with ORETT CONNOR.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with ORETT CONNOR. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record, Minister Bryan. Just that phone call alone that you made has stirred up, so much more topics for conversation. I'm not sure that you may get to some of the things that you want to talk about.
I'll tell you that.
Morning, okay. But we're going straight to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. We actually have 2 calls, I'm told. First caller, good morning.
Good morning, Lucy. Good morning, Kenneth Bryan. This is J.E. Banks here.
Morning, Minister. How are you?
Minister.
Not too bad, not too bad. Your last caller called about the farmland in Easton, and I know on Wednesday when I was on your show, I covered that, but just in case he missed it, I decided that I should call back this morning to clarify it.
Excellent, thank you.
As we've stated before, there was never no farm lease policy or land lease policy for those farmlands, and that the government has actually just had the farm lease policies completed, and we'll be rolling this out in January, going to Cabinet for approval. And from there on, in the first quarter or the second quarter of next year, we're hoping that we can start to lease some of this farmland out. So I hope that just clarifies what the lady was asking about the land lease in East End on the farmland.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for that, Minister.
Thank you, Minister. I'll see you a little bit later, buddy.
No problem. Take care, guys.
Okay, bye.
Okay, let's grab the next caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Well, I can clarify a lot of things to you guys about the public beach. I work at the public beach. I've had a license to work at the public beach for many years now from it was supposed to be granted. The problem is, and we've been reaching out, and we just run into a wall, right? When there were issues and we report the issues, there's nothing being done, right? And now that there are certain things out of control, it sounds as if, they want to remove everyone from there. Well, I provide a product to the tourists, right, which is water sports. They love it. I have interviews with tourists because I've foreseen this coming that will tell you and you will see where they are happy with what's happening. I'm not saying that people don't come out there and smoke. I'm not saying that people not running around out there doing foolishness. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is they should have had a police there while the ship is in and this is going on. They should have had a lifeguard stand there for not only when tourists come, but for the locals when they're there on weekends. Right? If the minister remembers, when he was running for election, he came to the beach with Cayman 27. He came to the beach with Cayman 27, and he was running on the locals need to have something happening for them. You know, it's very saddened. I feel that it's cruel and unjust to just, for those that have been there with the license and been reaching out and fighting. I've spoke to a few people in regards to all the situations that's been going on there, and nothing's been happening. When I put in for my license to be renewed after COVID, I've had my regular business license. As you know, it's 2 licenses. One to vend on the beach, the other one to be through immigration, right?
Now, does the license for you to vend on the beach, does that indicate a specific place on the beach?
No, the rule is whoever comes wherever and set up, you just set up and go along your day.
Okay.
The people doing the chairs, everyone respects each other's spot and put the chairs. If there's Okay, let's address the alcohol issue before I move on.
Okay.
Calico's is gone. No one is walking down to the Kempton to go buy no alcohol. That's a long distance. These people not used to walking on the beach. So they're going to ask their beach attendant, where can I get a drink? And this is where the problem stemmed from. And the guys started going over to the liquor store and buying drinks and bringing back for the tourists until they decided, boy, listen, I going out here every minute and making all these trips. I'll just bring an igloo and sell a couple beers. Now, mind you, I said to them, I said, guys, you got to be careful what you're doing. You're going to get in problem with the liquor license board. This is not a joke. I said, first of all, if you're going to sell beer, at least sell it in a can or pour it out in a glass.
First of all, you need a license.
Well, they should have a license, but you're not going to stop them from doing it. I cannot stop them from doing it. I can only give them my opinion and tell them what I think is right or wrong. I'm not going to stand out there and fight with them over it, you know. So that's a part of the problem with the alcohol being sold without a license. So, you know, I put together a list of stuff that could solve all these problems. You know, we got Mr. Barnes with his mobile liquor license. We got a few different people here that could go down there and set up on a daily basis and sell the alcohol the correct way.
But isn't there prohibition for the use of alcohol on public lands?
Yeah, I think, caller, I know who it is, and thanks a lot for calling in, my brother, and I can understand your frustration. I don't want you to think that, I think there is a level of feeling, I can tell from the tone in your comments that you may think that I'm against the vendors there. That's not the case at all. As you can imagine, as a minister and a representative, I have to look at all the views of everybody, and there's 2 different sides to this, and I've tried to express that ever so gently on the phone in my comments that, you know, there is the vendors side, or Caymanians who are honestly trying to make a living, and I'm so proud of many of the vendors there who have the entrepreneurial spirit to build something on their own without no help from government and asking government for anything, and they're making a good living. Obviously, like you said, you know, there's a couple of bad apples that makes it look bad for people. And what has presented is not the fact of offering of service. We can clean that up. That's no issue. We can regulate that and have people there to say, listen, don't do this, don't do that. We failed in that respect. And I've tried to tell my colleagues that we need to deal with this a while back, but we're here now, right? But it's more so about the sharing of space on the public beach with residents and Caymanians with the exercise of tourists. Now, there's two different views to that. There's some people who say, listen, that's our beach. We don't want commercial exercise because that never used to be the case before. This situation has presented itself as a result of other areas not being available before, because you have to be honest with the situation to say that before COVID, the protocol used to be you take them from down by the dock and you drop them off by Royal Palms, you drop them off by Coral Beach, you drop them off by Tiki Beach. And they were serviced from a tourism product from those perspectives, and the behavior wasn't really happening at the public beach. The government was trying to create a policy where they can have some vending at the public beach, and it never kicked off properly because there was controversy from then. It's even more heavily concerning now, because now with those other properties gone, now everybody's coming there, so it's even more highlighted, and more the voices of persons who have the opposite feeling are saying, no, Kenneth, this is not fair. I can't go down there as a Caymanian and find a space to be at, and I have to represent those views as well. And the bottom line issue is that we've run out of space on the most famous beach we have in the Caribbean, which is 7 Mile Beach. So how do you balance the views of those who say this is our beach and the vendors who are trying to make a living? So I want you to know that and can I call your name, bro?
Not a problem.
No. Okay, so David, I really don't want you to think that I'm against the vendors. I'm saying the government needs to figure out how we're going to balance this opportunity, because even the past administration have tried to find opportunities, but even when you try to find those, like say for instance the Barcus area, we're trying to have our cake and eat it too, because they tried to provide a solution, and that was pushed away as well. So I think that this morning's conversation, and thank you, OC, so much, is about that balance of having a permission license to operate when cruise passengers are here, and not have it operational when they're not. So Caymanians, those people who go, I know what days to go on, because I don't want to have to deal with all the cruise passengers and all that, and then regulate what is happening now, because you're right, there is alcohol being sold there. There is vulgar music that's being played there, and I am embarrassed by it. And David, I know you're embarrassed by it, but you carry yourself in one way, not everybody else does. So we're going to have to find the balance in this. And the comment about when I was at Cayman 27, I wasn't running when I was at Cayman 27. I was a reporter at that time. I left Cayman 27 for almost a year before I decided to run. So just to clarify that, and that was from like 2011, 2012 when I was at Cayman 27. But I get your point. Your point is that I stood for what you call your grassroots people, and those people who are up there operating are grassroots people. And I've expressed to my people, I said, listen, we're buying land, we need to go buy some beach land. So I'm hoping that my colleagues are hearing it today, because I'm now the minister who's stuck in the middle. It's being seen as the minister who is responsible for tourism when it actually is a land and DCI issue. And I've advised them, listen, my job is to go get tourists and bring them here. I've done that. And more is to come so Caymanians can have opportunities. So we need to make a decision on how we're going to deal with this, because somebody's not going to be happy and it's starting to express itself. But sometimes the fire needs to burn before people need to understand how to resolve problems. And I'm glad you're calling in so my colleagues can hear. Because if we're going to be able to put $10 million into beach restoration, let's put $10 million in finding another beach location so my Caymanians can operate. But we need to service both wants and needs. So, I'm sorry for venting, but the reason I brought the topic up is sometimes you need to get the discussion hot so people realize how serious it is. So I encourage all you vendors to start talking, and I encourage all of those persons who say, I don't like it, to talk, so we can be forced to deal with the situation. Sorry, caller, go ahead.
Right. So what happened, initially it was the condos didn't want all that action, because, you have people that come and they're retired and they don't want to see all this going on. But this is not the 70s or the 80s, and the tourism product has changed. When the ships are in, there are not a lot of locals on the beach. All the locals, or majority of the locals, are working. You may have some idlers come through or whatever, but the majority of people are working. Now, I'm not saying that someone didn't get a week off and come to the beach and spend time there, but what you have to realize is what the DCI said when they came down there is from the wheelchair pad going down to the beach, which I'll say was a very good idea and great. From there to like 2 or 3 cabanas over, no one sets a chair. This area is designated for tourists, locals, anyone that wants to put down a chair, a little tent, an umbrella, whatever they want to do. So the area is there, you know.
My brother, I thank you so much for calling. I think she's trying to go for a break, but if there's anybody else who's listening who has a viewpoint, and David, I fully know your viewpoint. And matter of fact, I got a call right before I came to the show, before I called in, saying that they want to have a meeting. And I think it's definitely that time. And I'm going to encourage the other 2 ministers to say, listen, matter of fact, the whole government, let's get a big public meeting about this and hear what the views are. Because I know what the views are, the vendors down there.
Yeah.
Trust me, the messages are sent. So it's not that I don't know. And David, I know you've talked about this before, but let's see if we can get another caller to give another viewpoint so we can have more of a balanced approach. Is that okay?
Thank you very much, caller. We have 2 callers on hold. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, the conversation will continue. I'm going to ask everyone to try to keep it as short as possible because we want to be able to accommodate as many callers as possible as well. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
60 I'm bossy with J and money. When I trip it easy, trust me. Yeah. Come on, just send some money. I instant entry. Look how you're lucky. Bossy, J and money, bossy. J and money, send you go a yard. Teen, bossy. Jamaica well bossy. 60 I'm bossy. We well proudy.
Celebrate Jamaica 60 with J and money for a chance to win a dream vacation for 2 to Jamaica, including airfare, resort stay, and more. Send money for a chance to win. Your loved ones will also be entered for a chance to win a brand new car. Competition runs from now until December 24th. J and Money 60 and bossy enough.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at J and Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
Bossy, Jamaica well bossy. 60 and bossy.
No J and bank account required.
At Doctor's Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctor's Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
PiratesFestCayman.com. Get the full 2022 Pirates Fest lineup.
You know what I love to do with my family? Go fishing. I can put the bait on and cast and reel the line all by myself. My mommy and daddy say when they were little, there were plenty more fish to catch, but now there are lots more people fishing, so it's harder to find them. That's why we have marine parks now. They set some areas aside so the fish there can have babies and grow bigger. Then they swim out to other areas where I can catch them. Having the marine parks means there will still be fish there when I'm grown up and fishing with a family of my own.
For more info, download the Cayman DOE app or visit doe.ky.
For the record, with ORETT CONNOR.
Initiating system for information that matters. For the record, with ORETT CONNOR. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. Going straight to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, gentlemen. You firing on all cylinders today?
Yes, we are.
I'll just leave a few points and questions because I know you have a lot of topics. First of all, I'm sure we all remember when massive development was planned around the beach. You remember when we were told we would be moving the campsites, we would be given a campsite, a big area to pitch tents, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That disappeared, obviously. You remember when we were told, that we would have other rights, to the beach. Slowly they're being eroded up and down the beach. So this is really the last public beach in the central 7 Mile area, or the only one actually, where locals can go. Yes, everyone has to obey the laws, but the locals should be there, controlled, responsible, and doing their thing. Because even if they're removed, there'll be those who are still going to go there and drink and smoke drugs or whatever. Those are not necessarily the vendors.
Mm-hmm.
And as the other caller said, there should be lifeguards, police authorities there to manage the place. It's a very special place. And also, there's also a huge lot at the front of it that's nice grass now. Apart from the park area for kids, there's a huge vacant area that could very well be a nice vending area, a covered area to sit and eat. And while I'm on the topic and the minister is there, I'd like to encourage him, as I did to the other minister a couple of weeks back, to look into putting facilities at the sports beach, at the South Sound, the Red Bay boat ramp, the local fishermen and the local beach goers and the visitors as well could benefit from having some restrooms, some showers, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But going back then to the first point earlier about the Cayman identity, the minister and the caller were right. I am happy that in my course over the years of trying to help, I was successful in getting one word added to the Constitution during the review about a decade ago. And you remember the mass status grants that happened just before that.
Mm-hmm.
And that one word which defined who is eligible to run and vote was born. As it was presented, it would state that any Caymanian is eligible to run, to vote, all these things. And I petitioned to say all of these new people are Caymanians.
Mm-hmm.
And they would be eligible to run for office, and most of them haven't been there for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I was successful in getting them to add the
Thank you so much, my brother.
Which also helped you, Mr. Minister, thankfully, because we appreciate what you're doing. It helped you then to be able to run for office and nobody question your identity because your mother is a born Caymanian.
Yeah.
And it states that not the person is a born Caymanian now. It was added that the parent
had to be
a born Caymanian.
Correct.
So your parent, your mother, your parents being born here is what allows you to not be questioned about your identity. But unfortunately, somewhere along the line, immigration got the memo that we got to prove it. So,
Caller, thank you so much for that. And on behalf of the good people of the Cayman Islands to keep our democracy Caymanian, thank you for your intervention in that time, because if that wasn't done, I know one thing, our parliament would look totally different today, and our policies as a result may be totally different, and we would have probably lost our identity as a country. So thank you.
Exactly. And since you asked the other callers, or mentioned the other caller's name, my name is Lennon Christian. So appreciate it, and have a good day.
You too.
Thank you. Thank you very much, caller. Let's grab the next caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC and Minister Brian.
Morning.
Good morning,
How are
sir.
you? Good, thank you. I've got 2 points to make. The first point is a general point, but it affects tourism as well. But it might sound a little controversial, so I want to say in advance, don't consider it to be an attack on the two of you personally or to any Caymanian. But the reason I say that is because the point sounds like this. I think that as Caymanians, you need to do more to claim your turf. I know the two of you are some of the greatest advocates of that. And at the same time, you are not exclusionary in any way. You say, well, we are one society, but can we give some priority to Caymanians? I think you need to do more to do that, because, you see, if you look at what the immediate past caller was saying, and what the earlier lady also said, she said something about, how there might be questions about the electability from a legal perspective of Minister Brian. Now, Minister Brian, you answered that very competently to say, no, whatever questions might arise, the Constitution takes precedence, and, if I've got at least one parent or both born in Cayman, I am qualified. But I just think you need to do more in terms of policy and everything to be able to claim that. The indignity that you go through sometimes where a Caymanian is asked, well, where's your paper to show you are Caymanian? Then you have to come with birth certificates and all that. It's ridiculous.
It is.
A status holder gets into a pocket and says, this is my status grant. That shouldn't happen. Me, the time I used to live in Cayman, I don't spend so much time there now. I used to hate this idea that I sometimes felt like I'm being hosted by people from outside Cayman. I want to be hosted by Caymanians, and I want to give them priority while I'm there, rather than appearing as if when I'm there, the people who came to Cayman the way I did appear to be the bosses over me as well as other Caymanians. Point number 2 is even more brief. Point number 2 is this. Minister Brian, I know this is not in your portfolio, but it does affect your constituents. There is need for Cabinet to put pressure on the Judicial and Legal Services Commission to enact rules, or rather to adopt rules to govern complaints against judges. Since 2016, when the Constitution since 2016, when the Chief Justice as well as the President of the Court were given responsibility for hearing complaints against judges, no rules have been enacted. I have been affected by that. I am helping people who were, in particular, former clients who are saying, I've got a complaint against this judge, but where do I go? There is need for the Judicial and Legal Service Commission to meet its obligation under the Constitution to put those rules in place so that people can use that complaint mechanism. Please, last thing I should say about this, the recommendation for these rules should come from the President of the Court and the Chief Justice, but the one who is supposed to make them is the Commission. Please put pressure on them. I thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, caller. One of our, give you an opportunity to respond to all of those. One of our listeners has written in and said that they foresee additional problems when the new, as far as the public beach is concerned, when the new Kimpton, when that other hotel is built there, because then they're going to want to use the public beach as well. I don't know if you want to opine.
Yeah, it is. Let me tell you, I think that was a strategic move, obviously, by the developers to acquire that property, because you have a public beach right in front of your hotel. You don't need to buy a beach property because, technically speaking, they can just walk down there and use the beach on a regular basis. It is a big problem, and I think the best way to solve this is temporarily have provisions for those who operate there to be able to operate there, obviously being regulated. But the government, being me, as one of the members who make the decision, but again, remember, it's a democracy, so plenty of things I say that need to be done don't get done because I may be by myself on it. I think that the fisherman spot down there, Red Spot, needs to be forcefully acquired on behalf of the people, but I can't get the support from my members, and I'm not afraid to say that publicly. But anyway, my point is, I think the solution for that is to go and acquire more beachfront land and dedicate land availability for entrepreneur Caymanians like those who are operating there. I don't focus too much on the small negative behaviors and stuff. You always have bad apples. Yeah. It's just like the caller before, Mr. David Lyons, had said, you put police down there, you put regulators down there on a regular basis. Like when I was in Bahamas, they actually have tourism police. Okay. Police officers who only deal with tourism matters. They can't go be a detective for this or traffic for that. Yeah. They focus on tourism related matters. So there's ways to resolve that, right? But ultimately, that's a temporary fix. We have to spend some more money on that heavy valued land called beachfront properties in Cayman. And what that then means is, for example, let's say, for instance, government took $20 million, because it's going to take about that much just to get a little 2 acres or 3 acres worth of beachfront land. But that could be the difference of whether we have a surplus or a deficit. Now, does a government make the decision to say, I'm going to present the next budget or come back with a deficit because we've done something amazing like acquire a beachfront for the people?
Can be justified. Yeah.
Can it be justified? But the people will say, but you see, you can't run the country because of the money. You spent the money and you're in a deficit. From a perspective of not understanding how the finances work, it looks from a PR perspective doesn't look right. But we are already going through this process of discussion with my colleagues about the priority on beachfront land and recognizing that vendors need a location and recognizing that we have to balance the wants and need from the local component and the residents who want a place that they can call their own. Another thing that I happened to say yesterday, and first time I'm going to say it publicly, I've said to my colleagues, I think it's time for us, and I said it in front of the governor. I said, Governor, how would you feel about relocating the government house?
Yes.
And I tested the waters, and it seemed to be that there's some appetite for that. So I'm going to formally be putting it in paper to my colleagues to say, I think it's time for us to start planning now to find a new location for the governor's residence, especially considering we're transitioning now to a new one. So get him or her, whoever that may be, before they get here, to get in the mindset that don't get too comfortable in this spot.
Well, my argument has always been that you start to build it, you establish it, you decide where it's going to go, and of course, security is going to be one of the main concerns, and more than likely, the Foreign and Commonwealth Office would be involved in that, even though we're paying for all of it. But it's their governor, so they have to be with that, so that the next governor who comes, you move them straight into that residence, because any one of them who will come here and they're living on the beach during their tenure, they're not going to want.
They're not going to want to move while they're here.
So you build it so that the next one that comes, you move that. And I had said this years and years ago, but unfortunately, our people here in the Cayman Islands, and when I say our people, I'm including those in power and those who really don't have any more power than the words coming out of their mouth, and when they get the opportunity to vote, in an election, that we are too apologetic.
I agree.
To people when we are to stand up for our own rights. If people want to call you xenophobic because you're advocating for Caymanians as opposed to others, then let them do so. Let them do so. That isn't because they say that you're xenophobic doesn't necessarily mean that you are. Time for us to take a commercial break. Otherwise, I could go on with that. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay.
No one can stop me when I taste the feel.
Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
West Bay, home to Barkas National Park, the touristy flair, a family community, a political powerhouse. From sports enthusiasts to car aficionados, affection for silver thatch roof. No matter how far you may venture, West Bay will always be where the heart is. Home will always be in West Bay. West Bay Pharmacy, caring for your home and your family. West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Convenient, quality care is just around the corner.
JN money touchdown. Send the money now. Reach wow. You say you need some money. JN money, I can send it in a hurry. Get through quick when you come collect your cash, or use a money card and swipe it in a flash. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN money, we a pick, yeah. Send and receive funds at any JN Money location. It's fast, affordable, and convenient. Money touchdown with JN Money. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we a pick, yeah.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at JN Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
Parma Carpet Christmas sale is back, starting Thursday, November 24th through Saturday, November 26th for a full 25 hours of savings, with 25% off in stock carpet, 25% off in stock tiles, and 25% off in stock granite slabs. All orders should be collected within 25 hours, or storage fees will apply. See in store for terms and conditions. Save big in Parma Carpet pre-Christmas sale from November 24th through November 26th. Located on 317 North Sound Road, Industrial Park. Open Monday to Friday, 7:30 a.m. until 5 p.m. and Saturday, 7:30 a.m. till 2 p.m. Call 949-5000.
We do a whole lot more than just cover your floor at Paramount Carpet.
Hello, Cayman Islands. This is Carly Davis. Come and enjoy an evening of thanksgiving and praise at Cayman Gospel Fest on Saturday, November 19th at the Lion Center. Come see Cayman's best performers and church choirs. My band and I will be there. Admission is free. See you Saturday, November 19th at the Lion Center with Cayman Gospel Fest. You cannot afford to miss it. Yes, come out and let's have fun together.
Brought to you by the Progressives, celebrating 20 years of service to the Cayman Islands.
For the record, with ORETT CONNOR.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with ORETT CONNOR. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Minister Kenneth Bryan. We have a few callers, but we're going to ask those callers to hang on for a minute because Minister wants to place some emphasis on a few things.
Yeah, I'm going to try to be quick because I want to get the callers' answers. But obviously today is Georgetown Heritage Day. It's a very important time for us as Georgetown. This is our time to show you guys our heritage and our culture and see our Georgetowners and what they have been doing over the hundreds of years in respect to who we are. And it's also a great time for some good food. So I would invite everybody who is listening to come on down. We have some opening official stuff at 10 a.m. At 10:30, the national song. 11 a.m. we'll be having some thatch plaiting and Georgetown Primary will be presenting. We have some steel pan playing. Red Bay Primary will be doing some dancing and some culture. John Gray will have a drama Cayman skit. You'll have all the local made hand thatch, crochet, all the displays for those who want to re-immerse themselves into our culture and heritage and see what's going on. We'll have prizes and surprises, giveaway, video presentations, all that all throughout the day. But most importantly, I know the thing that most people love to come for is the food. And we have kitchens like Miss Lulu Kitchen, Tasty's Authentic Kitchen. We have Gigi Kitchen. We have the Macfields Kitchen, and a whole lots more that will be offering up some great food from Cayman style fried lobster, Cayman turtle stew, turtle conch, fried crab, Cayman style beef. Just give you some other things: some escabeche fish, garlic shrimp, curry shrimp, Cayman style conch soup. Gigi's Kitchen will have corn turtle rundown. I know you rarely get that anymore.
Yes, yeah.
So Gigi's Kitchen will have that. You got jerk chicken, scald conch, hamburgers, hot dogs, conch soup, boiled and roast corn. Macfield's Kitchen will have barbecue chicken, Cayman style beef, stew conch, stew turtle, wilks, lobster, so the whole gamut. So come with your bellies empty, but your pockets full, and leave 10 pounds heavier because Georgetowners have some of the best cooks in the whole of the Caribbean, and I'm proud to say that I'm a Georgetowner, and I want you guys to come downtown today. Come and enjoy yourself as we celebrate with some good Cayman food and culture and heritage.
Excellent, excellent.
So I'm happy to take those callers now to give them the opportunity because they did call in.
Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller.
Hey, good morning. It's me again. I just wanted to add a couple more points, and I'll be real quick about it.
Okay.
Minister, what happens, right? We have a lot of tourists come through. I meet a lot of return tourists, and they do the turtle farm, they do the stingray, they do the tour around the island to Tortuga or whatever. After they've done that, they just want to go to the beach and hang out. They don't want to be bothered with anything else. They just want to go to the beach and hang out.
Mm-hmm.
What's the next thing? Oh, on Saturdays and Sundays, you have a lot of locals that go to the beach that want to do water sports activity, and they don't want to pay a $500 deposit or retainer on a wave runner when they can get one from myself or one of the other guys that are allowed to trade at the beach for a fraction of the price without a deposit. They just have to sign a waiver stating that if they damage the machine, they will pay for the damages, right? The next thing is the markers for the swim area, and I'm not blaming Harbor Patrol or anyone that has to do it. I know they have much on their hands, but what happens is when we have bad weather, they're moved. So, that's why people complain, they're speeding in the swim area. Yes, people, sometimes tourists, sometimes a person that comes with their own private ski will speed in there. Will go, hey, stop, you're not supposed to speed in there, but that still doesn't carry any weight. They will or they will not. So I think if we have those markers out there, marking the swim area out properly, that will be a great help for some of the complaints that have been put in,
Well, caller, I thank you for highlighting those, and I'm open to hear a lot more of them. I think that obviously those who are responsible for those areas and the various different departments hopefully are listening, and I'll take note of them. And I know that we're expected to have that presentation about the Public Lands Commission's suggested policy to resolve the issue on Monday. It was supposed to happen this Tuesday, but a number of other matters for Parliament that is coming up that we had to meet the deadline for dates were had to put on the priority list to get them resolved in order to meet the sitting of the House deadline. So I'm glad that these discussions are happening. Hence the reason I started. I know it's controversial, but I'd rather have the controversy in the viewpoints of the people so we can get this right. So I'm glad you brought it up. I've taken note of what you said, and I'll be bringing it up in the discussion. And anybody else who feels that they want to have a viewpoint on it, please feel free to reach out to your representatives, particularly those in government. Even those in opposition, because, oppositions represent Caymanians as well. And matter of fact, I might even reach out to the opposition leader and say, listen, do you have a viewpoint on this? Because it is a democracy. We need to find a solution that helps everybody. So I thank you so much for calling in again.
Thank you. Thank you very much, caller. One of our listeners has written and said, good morning. I'm listening with much interest about the vendors on the beach. I, for one, will not be in support of a move to Governor's Beach at this time. There is the new public beach, and where we can take that is the new public beach where we can take our family for a picnic and swim, because it is not crowded. Once it's occupied with vendors, it takes from the ambience, safety, and joy of being on the beach.
That's the other side of it, OC. That's the side that they will say quietly. Obviously a vendor who has a business interest there and a financial interest there is going to defend their position, and I respect that. But there is the other side, the quiet responder who will send emails, or they'll call us privately and say, Ken, this is nothing like what we were like in Cayman. Public Beach was always our little beach, and we don't appreciate what's happening there. And as a representative, and I hope the vendors there understand, I love every one of you. Most of you guys I know personally. Mm-hmm. But my job is to try to represent everybody's view and try to find a middle ground for everybody. And that's what I'm trying to do. Hence the reason, if you open the conversation up, we can hear everybody's side. So those who are talking in silent can hear the pain of a person like David who's operating there. And David can also hear the people's other viewpoints to say, listen, you're taking away my solitude of what I understand as Caymanians. So we can have this discussion together.
And be prepared to make compromises.
Exactly. That's the whole purpose of bringing it up, even though when it's hot and touchy and sensitive.
Okay, we have 3 callers on hold. We're going to take one call, go to the commercial break, take the other 2 callers after, because we're only going to have about 10-12 minutes left after this caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So, Mr. OC and to Minister Brian.
Yes, ma'am.
My encouraging word to you, you are doing a great job.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
I respect you for that. And God order your steps and your fulfillment. God's fulfillment in you and God's purpose in you is for that you have the love for persons. persons who you don't even have to acquainted with. And God cover you, guide and protect you throughout your journey for the job that you are doing.
Okay.
And crown you with His blessings in abundance. And to Mr. O.C., the same for you, sir.
Thank you.
God
Thank
bless
you.
you all.
Thank you.
I just want to say, caller, thank you so much for that. And trust me, the Lord's blessings is always great to guide me in my decisions. I must say I'm not
Amen.
satisfied with myself at all, though. And we, as a government, have to do better. There's so much more things that we can do. And I get frustrated sometimes because we got a lot of things to resolve, and that's why sometimes I go out on a limb and just bring things up and say, let the people have some say in this rather than us having discussions behind the scenes. But I hope that the Lord continues to give me the strength to fight, and I want the public to know that sometimes you may not see it, but your soldier is fighting on the inside heavily. Sometimes they even want to push me out and say things, but I don't care. That's what they sent me there for, to stand up for them. So,
Can I give you a bit of advice?
yes, please.
Listen.
I need it.
God greatness towards you all in the government is unsearchable. God who ordered your steps will always give you the strength, lead you and direct you in the right path. His Spirit will also enhance around you wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and protection from Him above.
Thank you. Thank you very much, caller.
I know. With Him, all things are possible, and I just pray strength in you constantly. And it's not everybody you're going to please, and it's not everybody you're going to get love from. But let me tell you something. The greatest love is from God.
Amen.
God will see your heart, and He knows it.
Thank you.
It
Thank you.
doesn't matter. Just be blessed.
Thank you, caller. Folks, we're going to take our last commercial break. 2 callers on hold still. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
This Friday, November the 18th, the Pirates festivities continue with the turtle release at Governor's Beach at 10 a.m. and the Pirates Fest 5K run walk from Seafarers starting at 5:30 p.m. As part of the Heritage Day series brought to you by the Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture, and Heritage. Take in the Georgetown from 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. on Cardinal Avenue. Celebrate your Georgetown heritage, local food, performances, and more. Friday, November the 18th from 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. on Cardinal Avenue.
We think it's time you crossed over to a new vehicle. And with the Toyota Corolla Cross now at Vant Motors, you have plenty of reasons to make the switch. The crossover body and hybrid engine is a sleek design in a sturdy structure with a spacious interior that opens to extensive cargo space. Stuck in traffic? The high-performance self-charging hybrid system automatically switches between gas and electric vehicle mode, helping you lower both fuel costs and carbon emissions. The Corolla Cross has full LED lighting inside and out, an integrated display audio system with energy monitor, and a dual-zone climate control system to ensure comfort for all. Test drive the new Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid today at Vant Motors, Walkers Road.
So much happening so fast, too much. It is hard for me to follow my health care instructions. The private counseling with West Bay Pharmacy literally saved my life.
At West Bay Pharmacy, we know how complex medications can be. Our pharmacists are delighted to offer you personalized one-on-one healthcare counseling, free medication review, therapeutic callbacks, and we will liaise with your physician to ensure you receive the best in quality medical care.
Quality of life has a whole new meaning with the right pharmacy to support you. Thank you, West Bay Pharmacy.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner. Now you can WhatsApp your West Bay Pharmacy prescriptions to 516-0777.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, K-Man.
Hello, Cayman Islands. This is Carly Davis. Come and enjoy an evening of thanksgiving and praise at Cayman Gospel Fest on Saturday, November 19th at the Lions Center. Come see Cayman's best performers and church choirs. My band and I will be there. Admission is free. See you Saturday, November 19th at the Lions Center with Cayman Gospel Fest. You cannot afford to miss it. Yes, come out and let's have fun together.
Brought to you by the Progressives, celebrating 20 years of service to the Cayman Islands.
It's that time of the year again when our spelling bees are buzzing around with activity. Join us at the John Gray High School Performing Arts Hall on Tuesday, November 29th to show your support for our best young spellers during the RBC Royal Bank's primary spelling bee competition. The spell-off begins at 10 a.m. Don't be late. Brought to you by the Department of Education Services and RBC Royal Bank.
For the record, with ORETT CONNOR.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record. With ORETT CONNOR continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We have 3 callers and 10 minutes left to go. Need I say any more? We're going to ask everyone to please be as brief as possible. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. Connor, and good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Mr. Brian, and I will be as brief as possible. Kenneth, I just want to say, bro, personally, that you're doing a great job. And I support everything that you've been trying to do and continue to try to do. One thing I just want to share with you, because just to give you a quick backstory on the beach vendors. I know there was a time where I advocated for it to be regularized, because at one point you couldn't issue a trading business license to operate on Crown land, and they made some special allowances. They had to go through pride training and all these different things. Plus, one of the suggestions that I had put forward was that they cap it to a certain amount of people, and then you end it there, and who's in is in.
Mm-hmm.
So that way that we didn't have all of these vendors piling up on the beach, and now we have them where they're not even legal. So I think that we need to relook at the structure, make sure that we have a cap on how many vendors can be there. They have to have pride training, they have to have the proper presentation, and everything has to be kept within the requirements that would be allotted. And I think we can get it under control and offer a very good product. Secondly, I just want to remind the public and yourself, Kenneth, because I know you weren't in government at the time and when all that transpired, but I know you were inspiring to be a politician. What I want to just remind the public is that when you look at this small stretch of beach that we have left that's called the public beach, we have to be very, very cautious on how we treat it. And we got to remember that parking lot that is there now wasn't in the original design. Where they building that hotel that's on the opposite side of that connector road that they put in as an afterthought was where the parking lot was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Parking lot was supposed to be the campground for the local campers, and the beach would still remain for the public. Now,
the question is, how did that get changed? Because I remember that.
Well, the PPM government directly responsible for changing it and allowing it to be changed. And I can just say that publicly because I challenge any one of them to come and say different. Because why was it changed? Who changed it? Who agreed? They were the government in power when it all changed. So we have to lay the blame at their feet. Now, I would just say this and end here because I know you got 2 other callers, OC. I'll just say this, Kenneth. Listen, there's a lot of good people within the community that are around you that would help you with anything you're willing to do. You just, no man is an island. Henry Ford said he has 10 buttons in his office. And whenever he needs someone to ask him a question about something in his company he don't know about, he pick up that and push the button, and there's a professional on the end of the phone that can talk about that. You don't need to be the master of everything. Just make sure you're the master of everybody who understands everything you're responsible for, and you get the best product. Anyway.
Thanks for that, bro. I really appreciate that. And
enjoy, bro, and continue, and just know you have more support than you think.
And let's have lunch this weekend, okay? Thanks a lot for that, big guy.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you. Next caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
If you move the governor's residence from 7 Mile Beach, where do you propose to put it? And what do you expect to do with the governor's residence? I hope you don't sell it to this one and that one. That needs to be preserved for our Caymanians because we have absolutely nowhere to go now. Smith Back there is way overcrowded with people from every nationality in the world. You have no privacy to go swimming there hardly ever anymore, and it's a shame. Too much has been taken away from us, and I'm really disappointed to hear that you are not getting the full support of our elected government and the rest of those members, perhaps, to acquire the railway spot in Georgetown for the fishermen, because the tourists really enjoy going there, purchasing the fish, taking it right next there to get it cooked and eat it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would encourage you to call the other members and tell them that you support that and that the people support it, because I'm sick and tired of telling them that, I tell you what, under this watch that I'm a part of this government, ain't nothing going to change there, and I put my political career on that one. But I can't force everybody to vote a certain way, but I'll lose my seat for that fisherman spot. I gave him my word, and my word is my bond on that. So, but if my colleagues do not want to acquire it forcefully because the seller don't want to sell it, I think from a cultural perspective, our Constitution gives us the power to actually forcefully acquire it in the name of heritage and culture. But members don't want to support that, so I can't do anything about that.
Well, that doesn't surprise me because, really and truly, in my opinion, government is hardly ever for Caymanians anymore. For us generational Caymanians, indigenous Caymanians, they're for the rich foreign investors. Anything they want, they can have you. You can amend the planning law to do this, do that they wouldn't do for Caymanians. Anytime a Caymanian apply to get something built, they got to go through more red tape, about 2-3 years, and still can't get no hayways with it. And it's a shame and disgrace. Yep. Anyway, another thing, beautification for Georgetown. I have to wonder if even you are driving through Georgetown, because by Anna Holdaway, Smith Road, and different places, the roads are terrible. They're like roller coasters. Godfrey Dixon Way, Eastern Avenue, and they've been like that for years. And we need our roads fixed. Plus, when I see these nice people go out, nearly all I see them doing, with all due respect to them, is painting the yellow around the cement slab. There's something called H&R and Clorox and a power wash, and they need to put on that and get rid of some of that mildew and ugly look there and pull the bush out of it, and please see that they do it throughout the year.
Yes, ma'am.
At the end of the year, it's ridiculous.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
I'll quickly say this. I know that the Minister in charge of Roads, Honorable J.E. Banks, have been fighting very, very hard to try to get some more finances to do more of these types of things for roads. But I want us to all remember, we are coming out of a COVID period and we're operating on a COVID budget. Means we're very limited, right? The country just starting to get back the revenues that we need now to do that. So we're operating, trying to be responsible with the spend, because I can promise you this, we may say we want all of these things, but if we come back with a deficit budget, then there'll be a different position and viewpoint. So I will support the minister in trying to get some more funding for him for the road cleanup as well as for the road improvements, okay? Thank you so much.
All the Georgetown constituencies pay the same taxes as everybody else in every other district.
Okay, caller.
We pay the license our cars and everything else, and that's supposed to pay for the roads to fix. Because they're fixing roads with it, don't need fixing. That's the bad part about it.
Thank you very much, caller. I have one more call I need to grab before 10 o'clock. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. O.C. Connor.
Good morning. Good morning.
And good morning to the Honorable MP there.
Good morning, sir.
I hope you take my cousin's advice, Mario Rankin advice on there about surrounding yourself with good people that would have your back. And I think a good place to start would be if you come back to the domino table with me and OC and kind of so we can rally around you.
Yes, sir.
I do like though the way you can call out your own government publicly. I like that. That shows that you're for the people. And as long as you continue displaying those sentiments and behavior, I think the people will always want you to be their elected member. There's a kind of stigma out there on the street whenever a Caymanian try to do or force something to be theirs or to be approved for them. There's this thing out there about not because on the thing on a Caymanian that they're entitled. But what about when the people that come here and they apply for something and one board turn it down? That is not enough. They go to tribunal, they turn it down, and then they take us to court. So aren't they taking to that they are entitled?
You're right.
That's what it seems like to me. You don't have to answer that. You can answer it later on. And this thing about the governor's house, the governor's residence, I always had feelings about that, and I displayed some concern. How can you put a person like the governor in almost the most busiest place on the island and then expect your privacy put up a whole bunch of signs saying respect your privacy. I don't think we need to move those people to a gated. Now we got a lot of them to a gated community. You know, the Crystal Harbor somewhere within that area, so that the only people that would go within that area is people that is invited or whatever, have the authority to go within that area. You know, so I think that would be a good place to put them. And another thing,
very quickly.
Another thing. What is your opinion on the rollover policy of moving it to 5 years and the person exit for 2 years? Be careful how you answer that. I gotta record that.
Okay, Lord Graham. Thank you very much for that.
Inviting Mario out for lunch.
Matter of fact, we need to go fishing. I was thinking about that last night. You know, I need a mental break. But Graham, I want to use your boat. I'm going to put you on public blast now. Let's use your boat to carry me fishing so I can get a mental break so I can continue to do the people's work.
And it's Wahoo time as well, so you might even catch a Wahoo.
There's certain individual that can't go because the last time there was a fight on the boat about who caught the biggest fish.
All right, my brother. Thank you.
Take care. Minister Brian, we have we're going to go over a little bit over time. A few questions. Some people speaking about the public beach, and they wanted to know about Governor's Beach, whether or not that was publicly owned. I've responded to that. Some have questioned, well, why not have bathroom facilities and stuff like that? I think right now that is a quiet spot, and the more you develop that, the more attractive it's going to be for everyone wanting
commercialization.
Some have also questioned the fact that they do see yoga classes being performed on the public beach as well, and they've contrasted that or compared that to the fact that the other users and stuff. And the one more question that we had, that at one point in time there was some sign arrangement with the Leo's Club in relation to the public beach and the upkeep of it, and they were, I believe, the first ones to either the Leo's or 4-H Club or something, the first ones to build the cabanas and stuff on the old public beach as well. Just those are few comments that I had.
Thank you so much. In wrapping up, because I know the time is up, I can't answer a lot of those questions that you put forward because I don't know the information. That information will come more from public lands because they're the regulators of the property. But the point of the disparity between yoga and, say, for instance, an entrepreneur, Caymanian, who has, beach chairs out there, the fact that nobody thinks that, or people see it different, like they're okay with yoga out there, which is a business, but a young Caymanian who's trying to hustle and make a dime is seen in a different way, tells you some of the problems that we're having in our society. So I'm not going to comment much more than that. I think we can all grasp our own opinions. But in respect to answering the question about the governor's house, I respect the position of governor. He's the representative of the king of our jurisdiction, and we have to put honor and respect to that. But I honor my people first before the crown. And I think it's time for us to make that decision to say we can put the future governors in a good, safe, beautiful, amazing location where they can offer the same amenities and have the same security measures and in a nice property where they can feel comfortable, but preserve the current location for Caymanian usage, meaning there's a historical component of the governor's house or the governor's residence that we can put some history around that. People can visit it and so forth. Not saying to knock it down or anything like that, but leave it as it is, but don't have it a situation where Caymanians can't go to it. Maybe put a local nice little Cayman restaurant in it where Caymanians work, and I say Caymanians working in there, not work permit holders. And then you'll have the other section of the beach where there's no vendoring, and we can offer it that way. That's my vision, but of course I'm only one of the many thousands of voters in this country that participates in our democracy. OC, I want to say thank you so much for allowing me on the show. I can't remember. I wanted to make sure I answered Graham in respect to the question he was talking about, but
there was one in relation to rollover policy.
Yeah, and he said that to be very, very
5 years
careful.
To work permit and then 2 years to rollover.
I'll ask him to call the Honorable Deputy Premier, and he'll be happy to give you a good response in respect to that.
And what I would say with that is it depends on what you really want to accomplish by the rollover. The rollover period was initially put in place to ensure that there was a break of stay.
Yeah.
And the break of stay was long enough so
they
that
can't
a
get
person
rights
couldn't argue that they were resident here in order to be able to acquire either permanent residency and later on Caymanian status. If that is what is intended for that to occur, then you may be able to reduce it to 6 months. That would satisfy employers who say that they want to keep those employees. It would satisfy the person who wants to work because they will have to leave again after that period of time, and it does not provide any pathway to residence or citizenship.
Well, I agree with you. I don't think many people have a problem with people staying here. It's getting the right to be Caymanian is the problem, and I am very conflicted because I see other British overseas territories that are allowing people to stay and they don't have to leave, but they don't get the right to that nation. So what laws do they have? Because this all is born from the advice of the Attorney General to say that if you allow them any more time than 9 years, they would have legal standing in the courts. So we've made this policy on the basis of legal advice on whether a person can kick it to
I'm not even sure there was legal advice. I was
legal interpretation.
I was on the review committee. Remember now in 1984, 1st of January, I think somewhere around it, was when the new legislation came into place. And there were persons like Mr. Ralston, Mr. Gilbert McLean, myself, Miss Sherry Bawden-Cowan, the Sir Alden McLaughlin were all on that committee. And we looked at things like the Treaty of Rome and things of that nature and tried to find, a time period that would be sufficient. I have found now, in terms of anecdotal evidence, that 1 year away is not a long time for people. As a matter of fact, many of them welcome that because, sometimes their employers work them real hard while they're here, and they need that 1 year break.
But there's no guarantee of them coming back. That's where the issue is, I mean, I'm happy to come back and talk more about this. It's a very touchy one, but I'm of the view that we got to find a way to not grant them the right to Caymanian, but allow them to stay here. Because many people say, listen, I don't really need the right to vote. I just want to be able to have the opportunity to be in the Cayman Islands. And we're welcoming in that respect. We just want to lose our rights to our people.
And that's an easy do. It really can be. It is not as complicated. Well, like you say, we don't have to reinvent the wheel to be able to do it. It is really not
let's spark the fire here, because one thing I know about radio and public platforms is when the people start raising their voice, that when the politicians start to hear. That's why I spark the conversations whenever I come here, so my colleagues can hear it. Anyway, that being said, thank you so much, OC, the listening public. God bless each and every one of you. May the Lord work with you today and give you all the strength and health that you need. Don't forget, today is Georgetown Heritage Day, and we have loads of food down there by the great Caymanian Georgetown cooks. Come and buy some food: turtle stew, conch, lobster, crab, wilks, the corn, turtle, the whole works. Good Cayman cassava cake, swine cake, the whole works. Come and get some food and leave 10 pounds heavier. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.
Okay, Paul, no closing monologue for me. I'll just remind people to continue to support Radio Cayman. Join Sterling Dwayne Banks at 12:15 for Talk Today. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the record, proudly brought to you by Pirates Fest 2022. Stay in the know. Get the full event lineup at piratesfestcayman.com.
Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health. And JN Money. From abroad to yard. Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6